the installation is like, you know, like my space is a very long space.
Yeah.
Like for example, my arm is the space. The door comes in here, and then I have a little tunnel, and then I have a space over here. So I wanna have like, so when you walk through the tunnel, Claudette's space, it was Claudette's space. It was like very narrow. It's a weird space, and I really like it. It makes me feel like it was giving me a prompt or helping me to make something, you know, because I gotta fit the space in it. It's really small, just like this room, so I will have, like, for example, this wall is the end wall, and then have two people here, just like making, like, two people here, two people here, two people there, and then just making eye contact with one another, and then, so then when someone walk to here, there's a little step up, which I think the step up to the space is amazing. So you have a little upward motion, and then you make eye contact with these people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then the long aisle will have a carpet in it, like a white rug, which will be laid everywhere, just scatter around UBS if ISIS allow me to do so. But if no, I will have a carpet and one outside the door. And then this video we're shooting right now will be monitor put in the long tunnel on the side of the one. You know what I mean? So like did you remember the thing I sent you about?
Yeah. Can you read it though?
Yeah. Are you bored?
Who, me?
Yeah, am I making you bored?
No.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for you to get excited.
When the word art, the art here, when the word art is a preposition, while preposition, the word preposition is a noun, let's consider the actual art material and its presence as a preposition for the noun. The for the noun is all caps. And then i.e. the show, the exhibition, or the critique. So let's consider what we use to make an art as a material is the preposition for the critique, for the exhibition, for the show, so-called. But it's all cap too, and the but with a lot of u. But if art is being understood under the concept of a noun, which is usually how to perceive, you know, like the question, what is art? When you use is, that means the art is a noun. When the art is being understood under the concept of noun, it then will have a hierarchical. Is that how you pronounce the word hierarchical?
Hierarchy?
Hierarchy. Oh. Hierarchy.
Yeah.
Hierarchy. Relationship with the environment. In this context, the environment would be the intellectual academy. Does that make sense? Like, if art is being understood under the concept of its being a noun as how it usually being understood, it then will have a higher relationship because the environment is also a noun. It is not a context, it's a noun. Because it's already, like, it's explainable, it's a thing, it's a self, like, it's a very objective thing. Or not objective, subjective thing. So then it will have two nouns, one living inside one another, or the one feeding, surviving on top of another, which means that they must have a before, after, or like in some sort of a relationship. Will have a certain hierarchy in specific examples. Therefore, I want to make this work is like, let's treat art as a noun. Then, but what? It's gonna be a little difficult. Like, I want to treat art as a noun. The noun's meaning is art is a preposition. So if you, for example, open a dictionary, it says art, a noun, and the meaning of art, the word art would be a preposition. So then I'm starting to see the environment, or say the academy, the intellectual academy, as the noun, the actual noun. So then the work will be kind of like an abstract, where like the understanding of the academy, or my perception of the intellectual academy in America, or say in America, specifically, you know, kind of like the mainstream. What do you call it? Like you have a say, like you have reputation, you know. And then
I don't have a reputation.
no, not you. I mean, like the environment has a reputation. So I want to use residue, manifesto, and depiction and transcription of the environment has been used as a entrance towards the event through both physical and metaphysical approach, which with the element would have like residue. Residue is the part where carpet is like, right? And then right now this video is the manifesto part. And the description and transcription is the part where you walk to the end and then there's like the people just like making a lot of eye contact or having like, no, I realized that no matter what kind of like conversation is like if it's kind, friendly, it is critical, and if it's not critical, whereas this anger and whatever, people here seems to be dealing with this kind of emotion of communication through a way that is maintaining their dignity. So for example, if I am trying to talk to you about this, I need to be sitting still and just be mad serious, just be like, so I think, you know. And that kind of like, I think the language, that part, it's just whatever they say doesn't really matter. We can just make eye contact and just trying to be as serious as possible. And then it just looks very smart. I'm smart, am I? And also, Ty told me to record myself talking about art. I find Ty really cool too. I find her a little bit intimidating in the beginning. Cause she gives, like, you know, it's so glad that she's a gentle person, because if she's giving me the opinion, like the suggestion, like you should record yourself, but in a tone that's more like not so gentle, I might be defensive over it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I don't know if it's intentional or if she's just like intentionally a very cool person, but I thought, I was thinking about it, I was not being defensive over that thing, and I'm actually sitting here recording this thing because it was talked to me in a way that I can accept. And then it makes me think about like how vulnerable I am, that I can't take criticism, I can only take coaxing. Coaxing, C-O-A-X, coaxing. Cause like if they, I don't know, I do really well in compliments and coaxing. We're talking about the application of art, we say the understanding of like, I remember in my first year I mentioned this to one of my co-chair, which is no longer here anymore, so I can say this, because if the co-chair is still here, I don't think I can say it without being angrily stared at. But I was like, I feel like the question we always, like centuries, people have been asking, what is art, and it's being given like so many, art is beauty, art is this, you know, try how to, I was even Googling like how to interview an artist, you know, that kind of stuff, but then I realized it's not a question, it's not that the question cannot be explained, it's more like the question is asked grammatically wrong. But what I got in the return of raising that question in the studio visit was, who cares what is art anymore now? It's more importantly to have things going right. And I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. I don't know, it was fascinating to me because I feel like I'm truly in America. That's why I made a work of, does America have weekends? It's kind of like funny to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just that simple. It does have a lot of meaning behind it. Like, for example, the question of like, is art not a noun? Is art a preposition? And like, what does it mean if art is a preposition? Then what is the environment? What is the school? Then what are we doing here? What is the art scene, so-called the community? And if you think about it in this conceptual way, this comes with a lot of potential new ways of looking at this subject where I can't really figure it out. I just was like having a lot of questions. So then I just thought about rugs, because I think every time when I talk to someone who makes art, and then we're talking about what are we making, and in the end it just down to the fact that the conclusion is like, oh, art is the residue of my existence, so I find the residue. I know every time when I step on the carpet, there is a little elevation from the floor. There's a ground and there's a carpet. There's a rug. There's you see a little thickness of it, like this thin. And then you step on it, it gives your feet a new sensation of your existence, and then you might have a lot of feelings regarding to a carpet where it was used to keep you warm, it used to show social status, it used to show like the boundaries of one person to another person. If you have a carpet in the home, you automatically think, oh, I should take off my shoes, because it's a divider of a space without a wall. Isn't that cool? It turns a space into two because of the textural differences. And then a carpet can never be clean. I try to throw carpets in washing machine, but I can still find my hair in it. It just seems to be something that always suck on, You leave something back to it. And I don't know. Art means something in somewhere. Art when the carpet catches residue of a person, per se, you can, like, I like what you said, like, this carpet is full of art. But then the thing that you fall on otherwhere is something that needs to be swept away. Like, I feel more valuable and attractive when I'm in Bard, or like when I'm in a school, or I'm in an academy, than when I'm outside of the academy, or say the art scene. Or like when I'm participating in art related activities, I feel more valuable because I feel like I'm walking on a carpet. But when I'm not, and then I can feel it it's like I can feel the steps down when I get out of a carpet very vividly, and then it just seems like my residue becomes something that I don't even find it super attracted to. Also, I think, like, the idea you talked about, like, handing people paper towel for them to jack off is a really good idea. Material and underwear material is very leading in an environment where your use of symbol is being overly understood or processed. So the purpose of why are you using the material that you are using, like, basically critique is the opinion, like the round table meeting of whether you use your material responsibly and correctly. And you have to understand you have to fully understand, or say somewhat understand, the direct and the indirect reaction your choice of material costs. So for example, when you're using the word, what does it usually make your specific group of audience think about? What does it usually make your what like that, is it like a word that that wakes up feelings? Is it a word that wakes up memories? And then you have to know approximately what direction it is, and then to use it in your work. Some people use intuition, some people use research and data, but I feel like underwear is a thing where it can get out of the way if you are not in an academy, but if you're in an institution, underwear would be a thing that's, you're not gonna get away with it, you know what I mean? Everyone's treating art like porn. I was just talking to Anthony about it last night. I was like, and I was like, Anthony, in your work, people might really, really like the subject that you were talking about, because people might think this is like, oh, it's good porn, and they might, because you are so sincere of the subject that you are interested in, they see your sincerity, they see that you really is interested in something and then work really hard on it. This kind of devotion give people a boner here. But yes, I do think people has an art fetish. Something that I consider is art that I really want to portray. I don't really recreate them in terms of as in making art, or say recreate art. It's more like I'm trying to describe the art, that the thing, using a certain material that I find the most appropriate in that subject. And so I don't really care about the execution of it, if it's perfect. I don't care about the quality of it, because it's not that thing. Or it's not that. It's just a description that cannot be cannot be executed in any other way. So
it's as good as it needs to be.
As long as the function is good.
Yeah.
As long as it, I was thinking that when we watched Top Gun 1 at home together, I really liked it. It made me feel like, I think the cinematography is really good. I think it's really it's shot with feelings, the director, and then I think Tom Cruise is really sexy in that one. But then when I watched the second day, we went to watch the new one. It's using a better equipment. It's sharper. The color is better. Everything is so much better, but it's not as nice because of. It's not as nice as the first one, because I don't think the technical side does anything to the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
they're really good at their jobs, but they're there doing a job.
Yeah. It's the shot is not thought through. It's just a shot. It's just a scene. They just put the camera there, but they didn't think about it. And I thought.
What they thought about it, but they didn't care about it.
Yeah. I didn't find Tom Cruise any attractive in the second one, because I don't see him, the character. I don't see Maverick, the person. I feel like I saw the first one and I was like looking at Corbin, and he was just sitting there, just holding a glass of water or a beer. He was just like, and I was like, oh, my American boy, you know. Because Tom Cruise in Top Gun is like so like American boy, you know. And that's like a thing to me where it's like, just poke every specific point, like the stereotype of an American boy. And then I was like looking at Corbin, and he's just casually just, and I was like, oh, this American boy is mine. Here, every time I feel like I'm being fetishized, and not only me, every single person who is presenting is being fetishized. It's like, just like, I feel like I'm scrolling through Pornhub, but for art, you know? People, you threw paper towel after you jack off, you ejaculated it on the carpet. I'll just put a lot of like box paper towel next to the carpet or something, you know? Just be like, grab some, you might need it. You might just before going to UBS, everybody should get a little paper, because when they watch some people's work, they're gonna be like, oh, this is so good, I can't help it. And then they might, I'm trying to do good here, I feel like. If loot's expensive, I'm gonna have them spit in their hands. Yeah. I don't know, about this year, I think so much about like porn stuff. I think mainly because I was trying to make something completely different than this thing that I'm trying to work now, really, but this is kind of making me sad to say because I've been working on something else for a long time. But it feels so inappropriate to present it to Bart. Because you cannot not make something specifically for this environment. This crew, or like what is expected to made here is like, my original work was somewhat about my Chineseness, my race, which is fine. I sometimes like I do enjoy talking about that as well, but I feel like if I talk about it here, it's going to be celebrated so much that I feel like the attention will be on me more than on the subject itself, because people here are self-aware about this thing somewhat enough, or at least they want to. There's no point talking about it here, so...
Will it be... I feel like the attention would not be on you, but on the act of talking about it.
Yeah. And I find that masturbatory.
Mm-hmm.
As I said last year to you, I find that very individualist practice. And I have a problem with it, because I am a communist spy, you know. Which if I don't know if I should talk more, because the communist spy part is in Neely's book. But I think this is a trauma response, you know, like, I had this guy, he was trying to, like, he worked with my boss, and he's trying to hook up with me, and I said no to him, and he thinks I said no because of his race, and then I said it's not because of your race, and then he was so mad, so he called me a communist, which I thought I'm being racist first, so which, if I am racist, then he can be as racist as he wants towards me. So I started to think if that is like how it works in America, or at least it's my impression of how it works in America, is if I am racist first, then I am open to all racism, you know? Mm-hmm. So then I started to feel like I am not only racist, I'm also a communist. And my mission here, because he told me that the most racist people he has met in his life is Chinese students, because we're all communists. And then we realized that maybe we are a spy of the country to come here to brainwash Americans, you know, and to make you all believe in communism.
How's that going?
And then, yeah, it's not going really well, because in order to do that, I have to pretend that I am a Chinese American, or say I'm an Asian American. Otherwise, I don't have a say in shit. if I'm not a refugee, but I'm not a refugee because I'm a spy. It's just like a little conflict. So I have to pretend to be an Asian American, and then try to infiltrate the entire society of the West, of capitalists, of capitalism. But then I realized, fuck, Asian American does not have any say in this shit, you know? So then what do I have to do now? I have to, since I'm already pretending I'm an Asian American, and Asian American doesn't have anything to do in this shit, so I have to establish the existence of Asian American first, which I started to join this kind of protest and bullshit, and then have to worry that if I got caught doing this shit, then I'm in big ass trouble because I'm a communist spy. So I'm like, oh, who the fuck am I? And then when that is on the way of going, I look back of my original mission, and I started to think, like, what the fuck am I doing here? What am I spreading? So this is the time where I'm supposed to go back and check with my headquarters, be like, can you remind me again, what the fuck am I, like, exactly trying to spread, but then like imagine this, I dial the number, and then they pick up, and they're just sorry, the office you are calling is closed because the office you're calling is closed because the China that I know of, the people think I'm from a communist world. I'm a spite of communism, but that thing has no longer exists. China has changed. I don't even recognize my home. I don't know my mission. I can't find anyone and anything to help me reaffirm what am I doing. And then looking back to here, I'm still halfway in the middle of pretending to be a fucking Asian American where I don't even know what am I supposed to register myself here? Something that seems to be conflicted to what I used to was supposed to have, but I seem to lost both, and then I'm just in the middle of this it seems like when you guys are looking at all Asians, and Asians are all Asian Americans, but I don't know, what am I, I stick my finger in Corbin's asshole, and I feel like it's really...
Yeah, I read about that in the book.
Yeah, it's moist, and it's so soft, and it's like, have you looked at like sci-fi movies, like there's this like a black hole, and then you put your finger in it and and then you go to another dimension, that kind of, imagine that. I'm not gonna do special effects, but I just, like, for example, this edge is Corbin's asshole. I was just like, and then I feel something stripped away from me, and I couldn't find it back. I don't know what is there as well. It seems moist and soft, but I feel naked over here as well, because this thing blown me away. And I'm not in his asshole, because I can't fit in. I have a finger in, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
And it just stuck there. Just feels like my finger is stuck in an asshole. And I don't know how to navigate through the conversation in our academy when I'm half in, half out, and completely naked in a way that I don't have anything to hold me back. So I feel like what I just said is something that they can jack off to too, and now I feel really self-conscious of myself. I have a lot of feelings aroused, not aroused, I have a lot of feelings being generated when I am in a neighborhood, in a community which has a lot of information being exchanged at every second. But I've drawn this diagram where, like, the academy, it seems like, what I have experienced as the difference of, like, when you say the academy in, for example, China and America, the definition of them is different. And to understand them, like, words should be like, you in China, you spend years, you're in school learning the foundation of arts, which is the things as like sketching, art history, like the Soviet time art, which is highly influencing China. And you learn about these foundations so much that later on whatever you make is based on the module of what you learned before. So as in, you are taught how to play with these materials, so later on you build new things out of these materials, but it's still the same thing. like, you know, the technique of it, or the view lens of it. But in here, it seems a little bit different. It's like a, you know, like a jigsaw puzzle. So you have a frame a frame, and then you have a bunch of materials. Your job is to see which is the corner piece, which is the center piece, how do I pattern everything, and you put it in a jigsaw puzzle, and there's only one way to it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a formal answer to it. And that's something that I constantly recognize in this kind of exchange of information, or exchange of experience in the art so-called scene, where I am very confused. You know, it's a big word to say I dislike it, but I'm just very confused. I think I'm still not familiar enough with it, and it seems to be a lot different than what I automatically do, which is something else, you know? Back to the comment story, I just remember there's one part that I didn't mention in the Nile's book, was like, when I realized when I try to speak as good English as possible, when I try to talk without accent as much as possible, like what I'm doing right now, it's like I'm trying. I know I still sound like, but I'm trying. It doesn't matter. I can try as hard as possible to doesn't have an accent. I can have a very thick accent that nobody understands. I can have total grammar mistakes, but I can also have perfect writing skills. It doesn't matter, because you and I, we look different. We have different, our ancestors grew up in different places. We have different geography, we have different language, we have different food, we have different weather conditions that makes our body to adapt with how our ancestors' living condition. And in a way, my muscles, my bones, my physical is not born to speak English. It's not how it was born to prepare to say. Even if I can practice, even if I can do to the point where I just talk to the phone and then you listen on the other side and then you thought, oh, this is a pure English speaking person. When you look at my face, you'll realize my face is a grammar mistake. It's really not about how I say things. I am not entitled to use this language, therefore no matter how I perfect it, it's wrong. Because it's structurally, grammatically wrong. Just like the question of what is art, so is my face. I was talking to them yesterday. I didn't really we were talking about your crit. Like it was the funniest crit people has ever experienced. You have humor, but when you treat individual human beings, you are so serious and genuine, and it's so hard to believe because all the other time you're so funny. And then I was like, I felt the exact same when I first met Samuel. I think he's funny, and then when he's got serious to me, he got sincere to me, I was like, are you fucking with me or something? Why are you so genuine? And then it took me so long to believe that you're not trying to play a game with me, you know? I was like, this guy is either making fun of me or he's, you know, trying to help me, but I need to figure that out. And I find that such a great thing to be shortened during your work. Because it took me a long time to figure out, like, the serious is true. Because I didn't experience your work and interact with it as much. But then when I interact, like when you actually make work that's interacting with other people, you gain their trust during the process of work, which is, I think, I don't think anything, but it's just something I see. I feel like, but I'm really happy that I know you in that way, you know? Yeah, Nora made me feel like I thought when I first met Nora, I was a little intimidated by her because I think she's so cool. Like she's not afraid of any feelings that she has, and then she take it and she's not ashamed of it, and then so then if she's not ashamed of it, there's no position for any other people to feel ashamed of it. So even if something that you would judge, but you seeing how confident she is, you would be like, am I supposed to judge this? You know, she's that powerful. And when Nora talked about love, it made me realize that if I can talk about love as confident as her, if I can think about art, if I can partake in art, in love as confident as her, I would be so much more loving. I would find everything lovable, and I would be more lovable. And that's something that I really want to embrace. That's something I feel like one of the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this master program is I met a lot of cool people, and I have the peers, and I see a lot of modules of what I can be and my potential, and someone that I can keep my face to, which one of the examples is her, Nora. I also really want to teach.
You'd be a really good teacher.
The
students would enjoy
I'm
seeing you talk about art.
I'm gonna have this thing where if I have a favorite student, you know, you're not supposed to have a favorite as a teacher. I'm going to have a favorite because and I'm not gonna be fair. I have to train myself not to do that. You know, I feel like for me, in order to be a teacher, I need to have a PhD somehow. Cause
This isn't enough for you? You want more of this?
No, but I feel like an MFA is not persuasive enough. Look at me.
Yeah.
I look like I'm a child.
Well, you could put on a fake beard.
Or I can write politics so vividly where people feel pity of me and then give me a job title. That's usually how it goes. But I kind of is wishing right now, that's the sign of like this video may need to stop, because I'm kind of wishing right now that if someone watched this video from the beginning to the end would be like, this person is really smart, let me give her a job. Mm-hmm. But that's very not a cool person act.